Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hue. Let's continue. So, for all I know, this is the last level in the university. We have already collected all the flasks. What this is probably going to come down to, though, is that we'll have some cleanup work to do after that. We're still seeing a lot of lagging. These kinds of physics may be putting more pressure if they're badly programmed on my computer than they should be. So I assume it's probably the best move to just not change anything. So let's see if we leave that there, and then if we were to turn off let's see, so what color do we need to open the door in the top right? We need it to be red. Okay, so how do we push a red box now past the yellow thing? We don't. We need to block it. Okay, if we blocked it, let's just go and restart the level. Just restart the level again, because you can fall downward here, and that's a problem. So you block that flow, then you fall down here, then you color this red, you get rid of the blue laser, you go here, okay. So we still need it to be red at this point though. And there's not even like a way out of this area. We're just gonna die. Okay. So we can't go down to the lower area. Until we can open the switch. Which basically has to be that. So then you're safe. But only moderately safe. We've got to apparently recursively get the edge here, then be able to jump up here. We've got to get that red thing over here, I guess. Interesting. So then that can now block this. We can either just push the laser, or we could have gone blue mode. But pushing and pulling is just as good. Then we can, I guess, move this here, as long as it's still on the platform. We can go into red mode, and that's the key. Now, done. So is there any more to this puzzle? I think there might be. Because once we get to the purple, then we can't. We need to block something there. This yellow is probably fine. So you just have barely enough room to squeeze through there. And I definitely felt like there should be more room. And I'm looking for secrets when there's not any secrets to even be found as far as the flask. And if anything, now it looks like we are repeating an old puzzle. Although we may be repeating it from the other side, so it may not really matter too much. We just follow the pattern and run. They're fairly safe. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be making it back, I guess. Oh, this is gonna take a while. I can already tell. And you can make a little unlocking sound by pressing up on this. Okay. If we got rid of that, it would be yellow and blue. So we could eliminate well, what did they originally land as? Are they different colors? They must be. Because if there was... Let's try just every single color here and wait a minute and see if there is a default color that they land on. Because if they always fell down the hole as a default color, then I could just make them invisible at that default color. And then they would just never be colored a different color. There should be a different pattern if that was the case also. Wait, there may be a trick here I hadn't considered. There may be a finite number of these balls, and if I just get them all blue and then let them disappear. No, it doesn't seem like that's the case. Get rid of red is the one to go with here. There. Okay. Now it's yellow. So we're just gonna have to move fast, it feels like. Doesn't really feel like there's any other gameplay mechanic trick there. See, it lands on purple, then it's blue, the first one is red. So if we can get something covered when we hear the sound effect. So you hear the sound effect and then you go red. Yeah, that would give you the longest run in the whole of the possibilities. Running downward is not hard. Okay. Oh man. This is just gonna suck. Red works for a brief second. But honestly, I guess the next move is gonna be just swapping. Yeah, that's a great example of something that just felt like unnecessary and a difficult platforming puzzle instead of a puzzle. Now we have different music, so it kind of feels like that may have even been an attempt at like a final boss fight, or instead of a final boss fight. No idea. Guess that makes sense that you would want to color that a different color. Now we've got our character looking at us. So this may be the big reveal. Is this an ancient native, or is this Dr. Gray, or is it the mother? I think the move here is probably to jump up here and then flick. Okay. far. And then we can't do anything else. So I think we are probably just doing that. Almost had that. Struggled with that too much. Get rid of that, and then flick that up. The flicking motion on switching colors with the right stick is something I think they really expected you to get really good at, and I don't think realistically I ever did get that good at it, or ever would get that good at it. It'll still crush you, so you still have to get out of the way. So you have all this like high tempo music really encouraging you to move at a faster pace. Slight problem here, though. Wouldn't I get lasered? Yeah. I have to color that skull, don't I? So we've had some puzzles in the past that have kind of built up to this. But I definitely don't feel like I've spent that much time doing these kinds of puzzles. Okay. Now, wait a minute. How would we do that? Oh, I see the trick here. The trick is to convince it to hit and then jump up here and swap around like that. Okay. See that one falling down and going like that's not gonna do anything. That one falling down here is the concern. Okay. So, I guess what we're doing now is dropping the box down. And I can keep looking for collectibles all I want, it's not going to help me any. And just push that down that direction. Just take that ride downward, I guess. There we go. that work? Can we remember what we did? This definitely does feel like this is the end. But we don't want to start rushing this either and dying a bunch of times extra. Like, ideally it would be nice in puzzle games if you could not die ever, or if the amount, at least it's playable that way, where you wouldn't die. But too often that's not the case. Unfortunately. Almost killed myself there too. Safe. That should be safe. Although that won't work. Okay. How now do we block it for a long enough time? We've got a blue. We've got to get around somehow to the blue. Which I guess maybe the smartest move is to probably just do that. But if I do that, it doesn't work. Because I can't go to pink now and fall downward. There was a way to force the skulls to stay at the bottom. But there isn't. Not as far as I can tell. It being green wouldn't do anything, it being pink wouldn't do anything. If this was green and I was standing on top of it and then I made it disappear, there might be some safety in that. But how would you accomplish that? No, it doesn't help anything, though. Did I need to color the box a different color? I think I did. So there may not be any recovery. If I had made it green earlier, yeah. Let's restart the level. I need to color the box a different color. It's weird because in the early parts of this game, I'd say at least the first 2/3 of this game, you don't have this the kind of puzzles where you can lock yourself out of success or otherwise have to reset. Push that where I suspect it's supposed to be. Don't really see a reason for it to be there. I also don't like this here is just there, so you can't go in the wrong direction. And pulling this all the way over here wouldn't make any sense either. Once again, from the top. Has these characters been observing me this whole time to see if I can see color or if I'm intelligent enough to control and handle color? Performance is not particularly good. If I am supposed to be proving myself worthy of color, although that is a potentially disgusting phrase to say somebody is worthy of seeing color, implying some people aren't worthy of seeing color. Okay, so here's the question. Can I move this box in any way? No, I can't. Yeah, this box turns blue, is blue. There's no way to color it into anything else, so it has to stay as blue. Because if I make it go invisible, then it would have to be something like way over here. That's just not going to happen. And if I didn't push it all the way over but just hung on the edge, that's not going to do anything for me. So the only thing I could think here is doing something like that, and actually that's not even the move, but that will get me to the move, as long as I just don't manage to kill myself in this process. you can see the character walked away, admitting that I've solved the puzzle. Once again. So this has got to be the ending. Is there a good ending? Is there a bad ending? I'm not sure. But yeah, this is whatever the story ending is going to be. We can see we've got all 5 of the flasks in the university and in the mountain and in the city, in the lighthouse town, and in 2 of the 4 temple areas in the cave, connected to the cave. Just looking at the map, there's a lot of dead space on the left, twice as much dead space on the right, a decent amount of dead space on top and bottom. Definitely room for more game here if the platforming and puzzling was really there. The problem is they've hitched their horse to a, or they've hitched their wagon to a lame horse, in the sense that the color manipulating puzzle gameplay mechanic just isn't that interesting, and they haven't done anything that interesting with it. And the story and the voice acting is nice, and the music is nice, and the visuals, I think, are the wrong visuals for this game, because it does very much have this braid feeling to it when it's not really trying to be as spooky. I can't change the colors in this section. They've locked out that option. But yeah, what you really would have needed is for the puzzles to be more polished. Otherwise, this game is just going to end up being mediocre, which is okay, but not great.
Dearest Hugh, it has been too long. You have grown so much. Your mother, I tried to warn her. I thought that exiling her from the university would protect her, would protect you. She did not understand that some people choose not to see. I never stole the ring from her, Hugh. I tried to destroy it, before it destroyed her. I now know she had it under control. She knew what she was doing. My intervention shattered the ring, altering your mother's very fabric. My only reprieve is that you were able to follow in her footsteps, to experience her work firsthand. We do not see things as they are, Hugh. Instead, we see them as we are. Your mother, she has been waiting for you. I expect she will be thrilled to see how far you've come.
It's very weird that we just don't have characters talking to you. Instead, you just have these letters. And there's Dr. Gray, I imagine, your father. And then we have Newton as a statue being shown again. And just reusing of assets quite a bit when you look at the edges of these screens. And then here we have Gothi. I imagine we're just going to see every statue once again. And I don't think it really means anything to me at all. Just naming scientists. Important scientists, but not really anything that plays towards giving more backstory to this world. In fact, this world's development is very confused in that it is a colorless, a monochromatic 2D world, and yet they reference people from the real world. I almost wonder if the statement in that last monologue was that when Dr. Gray tried to destroy the ring, it sucked in both the mother and Hugh. Or maybe it's a case that Hugh is actually older than a child, and these letters are from like the past. So I guess I was supposed to be Dr. Gray the whole time, which it makes some sense. And he made a bridge for you out of green light. Yeah, it would be a twist, although this game really wouldn't really benefit much from a twist. Even the little twist that Dr. Gray is a nice guy isn't that helpful, or is your father. It's not really adding anything much to the story. So here you have the mother sitting in a typewriter, and she just looks black and white, like you. Well, I assume this is the mother. Well, I'll be. Look who it is. It's wonderful to see you both again. I never doubted you'd find each other. You both look excited. Let me fire up the old vessel. I'll get you back to the village in no time. And then you just fall asleep. So that feels like just the absolute worst way to end the story, to give you no challenge, not show that the mother is in danger or in any other way actually save the mother. And now we're all white, outlined in a dark world. And wasn't this the dream that we started with? Did it just reset the game?
You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can choose how you see it. Now you can see true colour. You must decide if it is for better or worse. I hope after all this, it is for the better.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you should have been doing something to save her. Activating some machine, bringing the pieces of the color ring to the machine, putting the ring on the typewriter and her appearing. Okay, so we see Dr. Gray and the mother, who I'm not sure she even said a name, got a name. The main voice actress character in this game. And the character's not even named. And we got an achievement for called With Flying Colors for beating the game. It's been quite a while since I've played a game that actually has bothered to have a credit section. Not a ton of people worked on this. It looks about 5 people or so. Then a lot of special thanks, and then some voice actors for the mother and Dr. Gray. Then a lot of management people, I guess. So, what you would want to see in a game like this is that it would have sold well enough that they would have gotten enough funding to make a different game. Very possibly not a sequel to this game. I can't really imagine that it would make sense to make yet another game based on color swapping and almost nothing else. But yeah, you'd like to see them grow, try something different, maybe even in a completely different genre. I doubt a company that makes a game like this would go and make something like Call of Duty, but they could try a different kind of puzzle game, or they could try to make more of a generic more action-based game. Although, weirdly, when you have puzzle platformers like this, half of this game was a more action game than I really would have liked, and yeah, I wasn't very satisfied with the puzzles for the most part anyways. It definitely is one of these puzzle games. I just got an achievement for watching the credits, which that's a weird achievement that I would kind of imagine more games should have on it. I would say though, if you are going to make games where you just are having a casual experience, a laid-back experience, solving puzzles, that's not terrible. I would prefer a little bit more challenge, but I definitely don't want to run into puzzle games that are just incredibly frustrating. So here is the main logo that I didn't show at the beginning of this series of Hugh, and you can see why I thought it was just an angry mob chasing after Hugh, and I have to admit that I didn't look at it long enough to realize Hugh is actually a child here. That would have explained some things. So we now know that the mother is on the left there, and the father is on the right, and then behind all of that you have like skeletons and the lucha deer, and a seahorse. I didn't even see a seahorse, and a wolf. So just kind of random elements. Now, I guess we can continue playing. That was the one thing I was a little concerned about, is that we would have just been forced to reset the game. Good morning, Hugh. Isn't it great to be home? Everything is back to the way it should be. It's way too many of this stuff that played no role. So now we have all these like butterflies flying around. Okay, well, so to start a new game you have to go to the menu. So we will make a cleanup episode next, and then we'll see if that just gives us an achievement or something else. I think with any luck we will get all 6 of the remaining flasks fairly quickly, and this will be an interesting way to at least highlight how easy it might be to go through these earlier sections of the game now that we have all the colors, which honestly I imagine it might not be that much easier. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.